Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a really fascinating philosophical tale about power, ego, and what happens when they go wrong. This is The Absolute Sovereign and the Synthesis of Atlantis. So, let's start with a big question. Imagine you have all the power in the world. What happens when that very power becomes your own personal cage? That's the crisis facing our central character, a sovereign king named Glaucus. He's about to find out his greatest asset is also his biggest liability. All right, so we start with Glaucus, and he's in a serious bind. You see, his absolute power isn't solving his problems anymore. It's actually the source of them. He's caught in this self-defeating loop that he created. Now, Glaucus is a ruler who believes his will literally defines reality. But here's the kicker. Every single move he makes, every command he gives, just makes his enemies stronger. It's like his own power is fueling the very things trying to take him down. So, at the core of all this is his belief in what's called the absolute I. He sees himself as the one and only creator of reality, this single source of all power and logic. But this philosophy, this master morality he lives by, well, it's backfiring on him big time. And he's not just dealing with one bad guy. Oh no, it's a three-pronged nightmare. You've got this shadow that dissolves reality with burning water, a parasitic captain spreading a world-rotting drought, and a sea stormer who's basically promising to turn everything off for good. His usual playbook? Totally useless. You know, his signature power, this covenant of thunder, has completely turned on him. It's become a trap. And because of it, he's stuck in a world that is literally dying of thirst and silence. Okay, so things look pretty bleak, but this is where the story gets really interesting. The key to his survival isn't more of his own power. It's in two other sovereigns who represent everything he's not. The power of the not I. So first up, you see this massive contrast with Chloris, the Earth's sovereign. Where Glaucus sees the ocean as a weapon to be controlled with cold, hard logic, she sees life, growth, abundance. She is the living, breathing, terrestrial yes to his sterile, crystalline I. And what's so cool is that her power isn't about beating him in a fight. It's about grounding him. She offers a different way of being that challenges his whole worldview, basically saying, hey, your lightning is impressive, but it needs some solid, living soil to be truly powerful. And then you have the second alternative, Salome. She brings a completely different kind of power to the table, something spiritual, almost celestial. While Glaucus is all about control and domination, Salome channels divine energy to heal and restore the world. Her power is cooperative, not solitary. Her shimmering logic, the divine moisture she brings back into the world, it just completely shatters Glaucus's whole illusion that he's the only game in town. She proves to him that reality is interconnected, and his whole isolated power trip is just that, an illusion. So, faced with these two incredibly powerful alternatives, Glaucus makes a choice that changes everything. He decides he's not just going to change his tactics, he's going to change his entire philosophy. And he takes these really deliberate steps. He lowers his defenses. He stops using his power as a weapon and starts using it as a tool for cooperation. He invites Chloris's roots into his ocean and uses his own crystalline body to amplify Salome's light. It's a total shift from domination to integration. And this right here, this is the turning point. He finally gets it. He acknowledges that these other powers, the not I, are essential to his own existence. He stops trying to wield the environment and starts nurturing it instead. So, what's the result of all this? What happens when you combine these different forms of power? Well, you get a completely new reality, one that's way stronger and more resilient than anything Glaucus could have ever built by himself. This new alliance is a perfect counter to every single one of those initial threats. The Shadow's corrosive water can't get a foothold. The Captain's parasitic drought gets washed away by Salome's divine moisture. And the Sea Stormer's silence, it's drowned out by the living, breathing logic of Chloris's world. So that triadic nightmare, it just grinds to a halt. It can't find any weakness to exploit in this new, layered reality of constant growth and moisture. You see, their entire strategy depended on Glaucus being alone, and now, he's not. Okay, let's just zoom out for a second to really appreciate the big picture here. This story is about way more than just one king's battle. It's a huge statement on the very nature of power itself. Glaucus's will is no longer a trap. It's become one harmonized part of what's now called the fourfold Atlantis. His power, combined with the power of the earth and the sky, creates this new, stable, and incredibly powerful whole. And this really brings us to the core lesson of the whole story. Real, lasting power isn't about being isolated or having absolute control. It's about bringing different, even opposing forces together in harmony. The sea needed the soil and the sky to truly become itself. This new synthesis creates a new kind of hope. The world isn't just saved, it's reborn, and not through domination, but through cooperation, powered by the planet's own desire to heal and grow. And so the story leaves us with a really powerful question. Maybe the greatest strength isn't being everything all by yourself, but finding a way to create a lasting harmony with everything else. It makes you wonder, in a world as interconnected as ours, is the very idea of absolute power not just a trap, but maybe an illusion?